Make a meeting. It is 10:07. Call to order. Roll call.
Amanda here.
Eric here.
Lynn here.
Gerald here. Michael here.
All we rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Next is the approval of the regular agenda, which is tonight's agenda. Is there anything? Yes, I do request that the planning commission training get responded to. Please note, with that correction, does anybody else have anything for tonight's agenda? May I have a motion to approve, please?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda, May 8th, 2024.
All in favor? Aye.
I'll second it.
Oh, second. I have to catch up on the work coming.
Decrease.
Approval of the minutes of April 10th. Have any corrections or edits? May I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 10th?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 10th.
May I have a second?
I second.
Motion by Amanda, second by Michael.
Aye.
Anybody have any declaration of conflicts of interest? Being none, move on to the next. Public comment. Citizens are invited to speak in public comment on any item that is not tonight to the agenda. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak that is not tonight's agenda? With that, we close public comment. Special presentations, we have none. Design review and land use public hearings, conditional use permit application on Union Pacific Railroad property for temporary construction office and storage use. Dot, you can answer? Maddie. It's Maddie.
These nights. Okay, so this is a conditional use permit for temporary construction management office and storage. It's very similar to other CUPs in the area, which there are 5. For the applicant's application narrative, due to the amount of construction that will be ongoing throughout the site, we believe the construction management office, unpaid parking, construction material and equipment storage, and better located on an adjacent 0.66-acre Union Pacific Railroad property across from 4th Street. This location will have less impact on Taylor Avenue residents and owners within the midterm north community. By placing a management office at this location, we can see who is entering and exiting the construction site, and it gives subcontractors a good place to check in if we've added something needed. The more efficient we can be, and the less impact there will be on existing permits. This review should result in the planning commission making a formal recommendation for approval of the conditions or denial of the CUP request in accordance with the standard criteria and findings of 1621-620 conditional use review. The criteria are as follows: the relationship and impact of the use on the community development objectives of the town, the effect of the use on distribution of population, transportation, utilities, schools, parks, recreational facilities, and other public facilities and public facility needs, the effect upon traffic with particular reference to congestion, automotive and pedestrian safety, traffic flow and control, access, maneuverability, and snow removal. The effect upon the character of the area in which the proposed use is located, including the scale and bulk of the proposed use in relation to surrounding uses, the amount of noise, lighting and glare, dust and compatibility of the use within and surrounding areas. Necessary findings: the planning commission and town council shall make the following findings before making a recommendation or decision that condition is granted. 1, that the proposed location of the use is in accordance with the purpose of each chapter of the community plan and the purpose of the zone in which it is located. 2, that the proposed location of the use and the conditions in which it is operated or maintained will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or materially injurious to properties or improvements in the vicinity. 3, that the proposed use will comply with each of the applicable provisions of this chapter. Staff is recommending similar conditions to what of the other Cs operate under, with the complete and specific to Minturn North, such as not allowing storage of ATVs or snowmobiles, the timing of renewal, whereas the others are every 3 years. This is proposed for an initial 3 years and then have to come back annually for renewal. And shortened working hours, the others are 7 to 7, 7 days a week. And this one is proposed to be 7 Monday through Saturday for exterior work and 7 to 6 Monday through Sunday. Staff has not identified any issues with the proposal. As I said, this proposal is similar to other needs associated with contractor storage, and the applicant has provided evidence to demonstrate that the use meet all of the conditions in terms of use. Under an economically vibrant community, commercial development and industry of the 2023 Imagine Minturn City Plan, it states in part that data from the town's business licenses show a diverse and entrepreneurial mix of businesses. Construction and trades again represent a large portion of businesses, ranging from general contracting and construction business to heavy construction. The UP property, or Union Pacific property in Belize, is one of the first things when they enter town north. It is a unique piece of land which allows light industrial and contractor storage uses that are not permitted elsewhere in town, and thus as part of the construction management plan submitted to the town, all contractor traffic should only be accessing the site via Minturn Road from the north. There will likely be a material increase in local traffic due to the development project, but unlikely to be as a result of this case. Congestion, pedestrian safety, traffic flow and control, access, maneuverability, and snow removal in the immediate vicinity of the subject property should all be priorities for the applicant. Staff believes that the main factor impacting the character of the surrounding area, or importantly, the compatibility of the use within the Game Creek character area, is the visual or aesthetic quality of the area. The applicant has stated that his intent is to utilize the fenced and screened area for storage of materials and equipment and a temporary office. No additional site lighting is proposed with these requirements. The staff does not anticipate that the usability area will generate noise, glare, or dust outside of the approved working hours as laid out in the recommended conditions. The continued leasing of UP lands in the Game Creek character area for temporary light industrial and storage uses appears contrary to the Minturn Municipal Code. Yet a primary purpose of the conditional use permit review is the town's primary zoning and code enforcement tool to control uses on private property is to ensure that permitted uses are in effect temporary and inspected on a regular basis for compliance, that any such approval granted by the town is valid so long as the terms and conditions. Generally, the location and use of proposed and parking conditions should not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare, nor should they be materially injurious to the property and for improvements in the vicinity. The site is maintained in accordance with the standards of the municipal. Staff believes that as proposed and if conditioned properly, the request will comply with the applicable provisions of the town zoning code. Staff suggests the proposed conditional use permit for temporary construction management office for construction company as conditioned will conform with the town plan as well as the applicable provisions and requirements. My presentation, the applicant is here. I would like to state that we have received several public comments that is before you and also at the end of the table copy that I will be reading. Oh, my voice is already starting to get tired.
I'm Rick Hermes with Minturn North Construction Company. Okay. And I don't really have much to add to that. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody on the commission have any questions about the staff or of what? I do.
We're here, right? And I think it's more going to be the, do you want to do that now or do you want?
We'll leave it until after because we come back.
Okay, perfect. I can hold my question.
Nothing here.
Well, so Rick, the only question I think that would maybe be important for yourself that I don't know if staff would know would be, because I see in the site plan where we have the car parking, How many cars approximately is that parking lot, that section of the,
I think it's in the application. I don't remember how many you looked at it. Madison, do you have that in the application? Or do you have that? Yeah. We get a count.
and
And
then,
so the normal use of it is for anywhere from 2 to 4 project managers that will be there. On occasion, we will have, safety meetings, drop off, that kind of thing. Occasionally, subcontractors stopping by. But it's not really a parking area,
okay,
you know. Yeah, most of the guys will be closer to the work.
okay. And in light of that, if it was like if there's a safety meeting or something like that, then is that going to be, are those intended to then have parking on Minturn Road? Or? would
Not
you-
unless it's allowed by the town. That's not the intent of it anyway.
So 2 to 4 parking spaces in that.
I think there's more than that. I want 12.
That's pretty
It's
big.
a pretty big area.
I don't see the number, Rick, but I'm just.
I didn't see the number, man, that's why I asked.
I did not either.
I didn't see it.
Oh, geez. $24. It's on the
Did it?
application. On-site parking spaces. I mean, you'd have to really. You'd have to get everybody would have to park straight in order to make that happen.
Yes. Thank you.
It's at the bottom of it.
I see it, it's on the bottom.
Oh my gosh. Good eye.
Okay, is anybody else?
Rick, the construction workers, will they be parking down at, the Dow Junction of Blacktop or to the side, or how will that work? Because sometimes you have bunch of guys.
Yeah, I mean, we've done projects of this scale before, and there should be plenty of space within the 13 acres building. So, I don't know why it would be any different. We're happy to have guys show up these days, so I can't imagine it's gonna be an overview. But yeah, we're saying there's plenty of room. We have a 50-foot right of way for the internal street, and the house is set back 20 feet from the right of way, so there's plenty of room between the house and the miles in lane with the roadway. Okay. And there are some other common areas as well. And we are holding lots 17 and 18 back for ourselves. That will also be used as we go. They'll be the last one built.
I might as well ask the question. Basically, what you're saying is your intention is the majority of almost any of your subcontractors or besides the business, will be parking within your property or within this.
That's correct.
Thank
Should I just ask the rest of my questions?
Well, if you want to.
I mean, let's just go through it. So the question, I had, and this is first draft, so we have a total of 5 other PUCs. Is the one that's, furthest, kind of down the way that's owned by Vail Resort, that's a PUC, or is that, no, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, I just wanted to ask that. And then what's defined as, like, we have a definition of light industrial use. Have we looked and made sure that this kind of fits that light definition, or what is that definition?
Light industrial is a use category that involves contractor storage, landscape, contractor storage, light manufacturing, with workspace, that type of thing.
Okay.
Heavy industrial, usually associated with rental pit, and things that have much greater impact.
Any like metal work or anything like that would be done off today. So, all of that. So then,
The construction site,
Oh.
we're talking about the PUP or
well, in this area,
the PUP is just for contractor
or
well, it's like a construction management office. Construction management
Material.
staff. There won't be any fabrication.
And then the no storage on the site is just for that. fee.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming. I'm supposed to talk louder. Before we open public comment, I would like to remind you, to raise your hand when you have been recognized. And please approach the lectern, in this case, speak out loud, and state your name and address. You will have 5 minutes to voice your thoughts and concerns. Comments will be taken only on the CP. That is what is on our agenda. I request that you use respect and civility to all the people in the room. Comment only on the storage area. Again, if you desire to cool your time, the other people you're cooling for must be in attendance in this room. You will not be granted the full time for a portion determined by the commission. No cool time will be longer than 20 minutes total. Only one person may speak at a time. That's really important because of conditions. Please don't speak on top of each other. All questions will be noted by staff and the applicant and answered at the end of the public comment. So Rick, if there are questions directed to you, please take notes of them in the same with Madison Scott. And that will be it. So who would like to go first? Please.
Thank you. Michael Gattino, 110 Taylor Street, intern townhomes. I'm going to be brief. I do want to highlight the emails that you have all received. I think there's some really good information there from people who are vested, and I've spoken with all of them personally. I know them personally. And rather than me going through some of these, specifically, I'll do it collectively. Because I believe there's some things there that deserve some attention, both by P&Z and the developer. And that these emails do relate to PUD, right? All the emails that I'm holding that are part of this packet are related to the PUD.
There are other things mentioned in there.
And
But we will
underlines,
read them at the end.
underlines my point that trying to get this. I'm here to ask a question. And forgive me if it's raw or uneducated, because it's part of why I'm asking the question. You know, once we go down the slope of CUPs with the rail yard, as legit as they are, and from one person's opinion, are we forever looking at them? And that piece of property then, you know, becomes storage, becomes this, becomes that. You know, and we've heard rumors of all sorts of different ideas that have been thrown out of that railroad. Here's my question. Is P&Z, the town, the staff, under, well, I won't use the word under, is there any pressure from the railroad? This is business. It's a big company. Railroads are big, strong arms. And is it, hey, if we're not going to get this DUP granted, then that may affect our decision in the future. I don't know to the degree you can answer that, but I think it would help us as citizens, as we're coming from limited vantage points at times of maybe why town staff, why P&Z is making decisions, because you're having conversations with people we're not. And there may be some tough business conversations the town is having to deal with. And I think that would be helpful for us on Taylor Street, because I've talked to a few of the folks related to the CPU. Well, even some said, oops, maybe my email was a little misdirected. And that's the question. Is the town having to deal with a pretty strong arm that's influencing its decisions that if, say, folks along Taylor Street knew or folks in the town collectively, we might be sending less emails or different emails or more educated along the way. Hopefully that question is clear enough, because I wasn't really sure how to ask it, because it's not meant to be confrontational. I feel that there's a big arm in the background somewhere in all of this. It could be wrong, it could be right, but clarification would be, I think, helpful to all. Thank you.
Just a reminder, there's contact you offline, or Michelle Matia.
Perfect.
Ballot question. We have enough,
Excellent. Thank you. And by the way, I know you I appreciate what you're doing. We want to work with you. All right. And for the record, Michael Gutierrez says that we want to work with. I think a lot more share that. We're just trying to keep the herd in line without getting too out of hand with it. Almost up the cattle drive, if you will, if I can use that analogy. Lastly, thanks for all your hard work. The more I learned about the amount of work you guys do, I'm not sure I take your job. Thank you.
will address the owners and executive address the question of what's the level of the CP.
I appreciate that. I'll take you up on it another time because my time's limited, but certainly for the folks here, but I will reach out to you in another way and appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any more hands coming up? Nobody? Steve?
I'm Duncan Robinson, 531 Taylor Street. I have a couple questions for that piece of land. I guess first, the piece of land we're talking about is the dirt lot that used to have the brick building. Is that right? Not the grass that's to the south of that.
We'll have to touch that.
Okay. So anyway, I think, the development is gonna, put a strain on the area, and the CUP is an area where, the overflow from the trailhead used to park. And now, there used to be cars all up and down Taylor Street. And now we have a fence there, so we can't park. People using the trailhead can't park there. And if we use this other piece of land for construction use or construction yard, that takes away an additional piece of parking. And then in addition, during market days, people usually would park on Minturn Road, but that's going to be pretty tight now with the fence as well. And so I'm wondering if that space would be better used as overflow parking for trailhead and for markets. And if we take up that land with construction use, it doesn't sound like, I'm not sure what the storage is going to be used for. A construction trailer and some parking, I think could easily fit on the existing piece of property that Rick has. And so I'm wondering if that area can be preserved for some other uses that would be beneficial to the town. That's all I have.
Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else out there? I was wondering, Rob.
Hello.
Hello.
Rob Goshevsky, 560 Taylor Street. I second everything Duncan says about our parking shrinking for trail users and for market vendors. And that old depot spot where depot used to be is also a pretty important turnaround for large trucks, especially if there's going to be paving on County Road 14. If it's just the construction trailer and 2 to 4 trucks, I be plenty of open space on the plan for that. My concern is that, cracking this box open for a CUP on the east side of the track will, set a precedent for after this project is gone for other applicants to have a precedent to follow. That might not be appealing to Rick and his customers' views, and that would be other. But I just think that I looked at the county website area. And those photos are probably from 10 years ago. There was no storage anywhere east of the track 10 years ago. And all of a sudden there's huge acceleration. Things got out of hand, especially behind the turntable. There's been huge effort from the town, contain it, tidy it up. It's in a much better spot now. And I felt like I thought the town was heading in the direction of consolidating these UPs and all of a sudden opening it up for what benefit. I really like Annie had a great email. The need for this storage, how compelling is that need for this storage? When Appleton has 13 acres and a good portion of it isn't even titled lots. There's a lot of open space where I know a construction trailer and 2 to 4 trucks could probably sneak in, especially south of 4th Street on the east side. Lot, whatever, the one lot that's all by itself, the biggest snow storage area for this project. So yeah, I don't think the need for a CUP is compelling enough relating to this project. I don't think the town has much to gain from it. The railroad, that chump change for the railroad, I don't know why they would want to push for this. Let's keep that area clean and tidy. We made a lot of progress keeping those CUPs bottled up lately. And I appreciate that. Yeah, contractors need storage. I know all about that. And contractor who needs storage. But if I had 13 acres, I wouldn't be trying to take more and more and more and more. I think there's plenty of options on the applicant property. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Anyone else? Do we have Zoom?
We do have Zoom. If you would like to speak on this topic, please raise your hand at the bottom, a button at the bottom of your screen. Okay, I have no raised hand.
Okay.
You want me to read these into the record now?
You want to? Sure.
Duncan, did you want me to read yours?
Sure.
Yeah. Rob, did you want me to read yours?
Just the section relating to,
I was going to do that for yours as well.
thank
So this is from Duncan. And an email with 5 different bullet points. The bullet point, the fifth one is specific to PUD. Special use permit for Minturn Road to use Minturn North to use the UP property to the west of Minturn Road. I vote no. Why can't Rick use his own land to store construction equipment? If he needs additional storage, there is plenty of construction storage nearby. Rick says one thing and then does another. There is some gravel dirt area to the west of Minturn Road, and this was used for overflow trailhead parking in the past. Before Rick took away all but 5 to 10 spots for trailhead. This area should also be used for Minturn Market parking and food construction materials. Business the town gains from trailhead use for Minturn Market are more important than Rick's construction materials. This one is from Justine Lacrosse, 322 Taylor. Hello, I cannot make the meeting on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. I am writing to object to the idea of a conditional use permit application on Union Pacific Railroad property for temporary construction office storage uses. Granting this use gives the project control of the whole area. The closure of 4th Street is concerning as traffic has already increased in front of my residence. The intersection of Taylor Street and Minturn Road is not safe, and granting this permit basically closes off Minturn Road, funneling all traffic to and from Main Street through Taylor. I have always felt unsafe walking through the International Building turntable lagoon area. not to mention the worry I have for my kids. There have been several close calls. The fence already constructed on the property seems pretty close to Taylor Street. My residence feels like prison, no joke. This one is from Trent Schaffler at 105 Lions Lane. Sorry. He had 7 bullet points, and the 7th one was specific to the community. Special use permit for Minter North to use the UP property to the west of Minter Road. If the town / UP approves leasing a plan, to put in appropriate controls limiting use of use. This one is from Rob. Okay. He had 4 bullet points. The 3rd one, construction storage areas were included on various plans and resort concepts should be held to that. The conditional use permit for storage on Union Pacific land in the area of the old depot would likely lead to renewals of the CUP for the long term. I think Minturn has done a good job containing and cleaning up the area west of the tracks, and this would be a step backwards. The old depot zone would serve the area better as overflow trailhead parking and for Minturn Market vendor bus. Minturn Road will be too busy now for the old vendor bus. It also serves as an important turnaround for large trucks that cannot easily make it turns over the tracks past the limit. Areas beyond the depot are finally naturalizing with tall grasses and a few small trees. Rick has only sold half of the lots. He can utilize a few unsold lots for his infrastructure storage and construction trailers. How can start going? Last one is from David Clapp at 392 Taylor. Thank you to all. I appreciate everyone's time. I am sorry that I can't attend this evening's meeting. I have attended many past CP requests through the years. I am sure tonight's will be the same. The only one in favor will be the applicant. The residents will be opposed. We want storage containers blocking their view of the river. Why would you want to look down on piles of asphalt being stored for years? I don't recommend it. The Railroad North tenants pay taxes to Minturn or have a bill. Please keep the wishes of those of us who do. TPUD. That is the full comment that I received before this meeting.
Can we address the 14 things?
So, if you have a question.
Yes. You have, why don't you address them in this?
I think so.
Please and thank you.
So the first, I think, was from, Michael's questions, I think, were more for you. You there? And Duncan, it is the very, maybe ditch and goes to the north. So that's the already disturbed area. I understand that, you know, there is some use for trailhead and market parking. I understand that that's how it is, but it is Union Pacific property. I don't know if there's a way to do that. Maybe you guys can speak to that, but, it's, you know, it's 0.66 acres. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anybody park down. I'm sure they do. I don't want to forget that we are also adding 54 parking spaces. If we can get through the work that needs to be done for the trailhead. I know that there's going to be disruptions. Because there will be some disruption. But the point is to get from here to the finish line where it is complete, the eco trailhead parking. I don't know if Duncan would. So, and Rob, I think your questions were pretty well the same. Unless I missed something.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Maybe just a point of clarification on. My understanding is that the fence right now is installed in a manner that allows the parking off of the road.
So originally they staked where the fence was along the property, right, which is what we thought it would be. But as we did that, it went all the way across the trailhead parking. It actually approached the Minter or Taylor Avenue and approaches into the property. So we moved it back in. It varies how much we moved it back in. But the point was to get it off the roadway, but not interrupt all the drainage that we have to do on the side of Taylor Avenue as well. So we can't put it in a location where we're going to immediately go. So we tried to find that fine line And I had talked to Michelle, she had called about, before the fence ever went in, about the trailhead parking, so we did the best we could to do the same with the trailhead parking, to leave that as much space as we could without disrupting the work that needs to be done within the fenced area.
I heard another question that maybe you could address. If the original PUD approval included space within PUD boundaries for this use, what's the advantage to you, to the town, to the project, to the whatever?
Well,
expediency of the project.
Well, what's going to be going on is work from one end to the other. And it's actually, there are 28 sold, 28 of the 39, which is great. Because our goal has always been to make this project as expedient as we could. So there's going to be a lot of heavy equipment construction activity from one end to the other. So there really isn't, we have to move dirt and we excavate certain things and infrastructure from one spot to the next. So there really isn't that much space available. And we thought putting it in this location gave us a different vantage point where we would only have to do it one time without moving it around this site, and it moved it further from the residents. That was the purpose. So, and 4th Street, unfortunately, as a part of all this, has to be closed, and that's expected to be May 20th, when heavy infrastructure really starts. I would, if I could just add one thing, if everybody would take the time to read the construction update. We just received our grading permit on Monday, so we haven't had management or supervision on site because we just got this on Monday. So I know that there's been disruption, I get that, the fence is going up, the fence will be green, the green material will be placed all the way around this CUP. The communication is gonna start to improve around the fence perimeter. And at the CUP, there will be a QR code that will be placed in different locations. We have electronic signs that will go on, so if there's any disruption that's forthcoming, utility companies will give us notice. We'll also put that on the sign. The town also has agreed for us to communicate with them, or with staff, so that we can also communicate through the town website, so we're doing everything we can. So I know it's been a slow debate.
And if you're supposed to a construction update, what?
I'm not a big user of the QR code, but I know a lot of people do. So that'll be regularly updated.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Could I request updated on those papers we have, just put on our table out in the lobby?
Yeah, we printed 50. So we
I mean,
all the
in
rest
the
of it.
future.
Oh,
Don't use QR codes or call. We've got the newsletter out there, the water letters, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody would be helping to understand. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Dan, you gonna do the first answers? I don't think there was anything else. We talked to Michael, so he was here. Yeah. He does something, he was there, stop. And he was expert. So with that, we'll close public comment. We'll come back to the commission and see if anybody has any more questions.
So I do have some questions. I don't know if it's some are for staff again and some are for Rick. So the first question, I started glossing over when I was reading the contract with UP. Do you have the ability to do any, like, can you lease it after your lease is done? Can you like pass the lease on? I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of it is a new PUD, it's on the east side, like, you know, we have been doing work to try to get those lower. So are you able to reassign that per that contract?
we have the right to extend with their approval.
Okay.
Our only purpose would be for construction.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would do that. I'd have to look back at it. It is a lengthy agreement and it's their agreement. So I'd have to look back and see if there's an ability clause. I'm not sure if there is.
Okay.
I don't know who I would assign it to.
If you wanted to make a quick buck. Not you, like, that would just be one question I had, is like, if it, if there's a non-accountability clause.
So originally, they wanted us to look at the entirety of that. Another acre and a half, maybe, that went further to the south. And we did not need that much parking and that much space, so we limited to this disturbed area. So,
And then my question is for staff. So I know that we took the boilerplate kind of agreement. Do we have to, or can we make adjustments to it? I mean, we made some minor adjustments already, but can we make additional adjustments?
Absolutely. The reason why we took from the others was for some kind of consistency for the general CUP area out there. But each CUP can have its own.
Okay, and then does the CUP condition, does it have to align with the end date of lease with the UP?
If they run with the CUP.
If they run with the CUP?
You overall, and if it's done, construction and everything comes down, there is no more construction, and it's all done. That's the end of the CUP.
So it would, like, if that happens mid-year into the fourth year, like the 3-year contract, the 3-year CUP, I think this is probably in case longer than we need. Okay, so if it's within the, well, within the 3 years, it ends up, 2.5 years, the CUP closes down, but there's still, Rick still has a lease on that land. If there's an assignability clause, he could still use that land or lease it out in a different way.
Typically, yes, like a second cover.
Okay,
But it can be conditions to run this.
okay. We can add that into the doc.
So at the termination of the business, the operation of the CUP, so it can come into purpose. That could be the end date of the CUP, unless there's a hearing to extend it for time. Something person. Right?
Okay.
So it's gonna, for whatever reason, get signed or passed on to somebody else. You get the approval.
Condition 7, as proposed, which I believe is also all of you, all of the other CUPs. The CUP will be subject to an annual review by the town of Minturn planning staff with regard to compliance with the terms of use and conditions of approval of this CUP. The town staff shall provide a report to the council following review. The report shall in general manner provide updates on the following, and subsection C is any changes in I, left / lefty in II area. So any changes within the lessee for the CUP has to be.
Okay, but it only is on an annual cycle, not at the time of the sublease. That's true. So I would think that we would want to make sure that we would want that language tightened up, I guess I would say, so that we close, like, when Rick closes down, that CUP essentially, so, like, it has to come back to it. Instead of waiting for that annual review of the sublease. If it was sublease, I'm just doing, and then the other question, I think I did put on, the annual review and whether, because we know it's gonna be material in terms of the congestion of traffic, we know all that, it's not related to CUP, but those cars are going to be accessing material within the CUP. So totally outside of the traffic is outside of the CUP. But with the extra congestion, do we want to ensure adherence to that CUP? Kind of just making sure everything's looking good on a different cycle than annual, like quarterly. Make sure that, there's not additional parking in the CUP, or, it feels like an annual cycle is quite expensive, and so I would be a lot more comfortable with the town doing a shorter cycle. The other piece was because of the volume of in and out on this one, I mean, I looked in, it's like 3 infractions and we can close it down. That actually seems a little bit too low. I feel like there could be, you know, as things are getting moving and starting and understanding that we would have more. I don't know. So I was kind of opposite of that. So that was, I wanted to understand where that 3 infractions came from. Was it from other CUPs or the trends that you guys had seen, and that was kind of that trigger mark, or how did you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So, probably 3 years ago already, I think. Staff met out on the railroad site with all the when they were opposed, hey, we're noticing an uptick on infractions, and obviously these conditions aren't working. So how can we kind of come to a happy medium where, you know, we're not calling you up in front of council every 6 months because you racked up the infractions. How can we just get you to take care of your site? And so I think it is important to note that any infraction only counts if after we send a letter to the property owner or to the holder that infraction is not taken care of. So if they take care of it within 30 days, it doesn't count as an infraction. And so, you know, as long as they're in communication with us and they're quickly addressing any problems that we bring up as staff inspecting the site, then it doesn't count as an infraction, and so therefore we don't have the whole to count every time. So we kind of, whoops, we messed up. We stored something there that wasn't supposed to be stored, or there's one of our contractors have a fake plate, whatever it was. And so that was kind of the middle ground found with other stakeholders that they wanted, or they requested to council a grace period in order to take care of it. And so that as long as they took care of it, it kind of took off its record, took it off the record, no longer.
So what would, so this, where did, for some reason I missed the grace period in this document. Maybe we short up that grace period and then leave the infraction that reason.
So I'm gonna jump in. Some of these are standardized for the CUPs and the railroad road. Make our job easier as a town and to make it helpful for the CUP. They understand that it's annual review. We have the ability to do an annual review. And staff expects an annual review and reporting of those things. We certainly can recommend for this particular CUP of different cadence, different time frames for them. I think staff and town would have to make sure we do it. I'm just putting that there.
And that is within condition 6, violations of the following schedule and building enforcement. It does not count as a violation. They
This will also be, in my mind, you know, connected with a lot of different stuff. And with the CUP itself, we're giving it a lot more than this particular CUP element and the CUP itself and project on a weekly basis for the next few years. We have very, you know, pretty good, we have good construction, we've got several meetings, construction, we have construction management plan, we have documentation that needs to moving forward between the construction team and the town and the year with regard to inspections of project needs. As opposed to some of our other CUPs that are doing project needs. By
Eric, you have any thoughts? New guy on the block? Eric is a new alternate. Daryl is our new full-time. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick, I have one question. There was mention about truck turnaround and that the, when I used to work with the lumberyard, there was a lot of trucks turnaround, no problem. Have you got that addressed yet? You know how to address that?
I'm not sure what the.
Well-
So there'll still be Fourth Street access, access to the CUP area.
And that's where the truck turnaround would be, they'll be able to turn around up in there?
Well, they won't be able to pull all the way in and turn around, which you mean,
Yeah.
but they'll be able to sort of pull that one back out. You know, do it to-
So it would, as they're backing out and that kind of stuff, could pose a little bit of problems if there's traffic on it. But it's not going to be like Edwards Building Center had with Highway State.
No.
But it'll be the same scenario. They have to back out sometimes. Not always.
Yeah, are you talking about our deliveries or just?
Your deliveries.
You know, our lumber deliveries, for example, will go straight to the site for the most part. I mean, we'll have some storage on. But that would be for example, if we have pipe going in the ground and we need to make sure we have things pre-ordered these days, but it takes long to get, and they want to store them in there, but I don't see us getting like huge 18-wheeler loads of it. Like, so, I mean.
Not that many.
Not very many, I can't, maybe it would be more, I would say, Daryl, if anything, on the pipe. Yeah, that's coming in, and in that case, they'll go into the site. Have plenty of space to turn.
So you don't foresee that this could be a problem?
I don't think it's a problem.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
And just to be clear, Union Pacific has required of us that we do not interrupt any of their locations for access. So there are other places where you can access the rail yard, the rail line, along Minter Road. So they want to make sure that those remain as they are as we complete the paving of Minter and County Road 14.
I have comments, but I don't have any questions. I'm my up.
You're up.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, you know. So, Michael's general question from the town, he's gonna talk with Scott about that. As a planning and zoning member, I don't have any knowledge I don't think we have any knowledge direct from the rail yard. And then, in regards, first of all, let me thank you. I know a lot of people on Taylor Street, a lot of friends on Taylor Street. If I don't know you, you're still my neighbors, because we all live. Okay, so we'll start with that. As far as the CUP, Rob's question, and the CUP and this and that. Well, the CUP and the construction site and, having a space down there, I thought a lot about, I thought a lot about it, I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was, keeping the construction trailer and the CUP site over at the bottom, keeping Taylor Street, pretty much basically just for Taylor Street residents and trailhead. I thought it was, I think that it's a good design, I think that it's important to have, and Rob's question on, what's the purpose of the railroad, doing a deal with Rick? Well, pretty sure Rick just paid the railroad a lot of money. That might be beneficial to the project, and he has communication, to make a deal like that. But I think that it's a benefit. I think that, like I said, keep Taylor Street 40-foot right away. You know, there's a lot of room up there. I drove around up there. You know, of course, people are gonna be impacted. In the construction business, of course, Rick wants to do stuff. It's gonna get done sooner, keeping it excavate everything at the same time, get his drainage in, get his, you know, pipe in the ground and start building. He wants to get out of there. You know, as much as everybody in the neighborhood wants to get out of there. And, you know, we currently have multiple CUPs in that, over in that area that are just CUPs and which are fine, but this is specific to the construction site. And I think that it keeps traffic out, like I said, I like to repeat myself, on the important stuff, but like I said, I think that it isolates people down on the lower end, keeps people further away from the residences. And, you know, if the neighbors over there, you know, want more parking for the market, they can talk to council about the land the town just acquired. But that's all I got to say at this point.
Then there was one. I see this as a positive, for the same reason I might take things away from Taylor Street a bit, so there might not be as much interruption. No matter how we look at it, Full Street's gonna have to be closed for some period of time. I think that Amanda's ideas on the conditions running with the CUP is something we need to hold back. I sort of had the feeling from reading this, where it was, but maybe we better make sure. And I also like the idea of a shorter review cycle, at least at the first year, so everybody gets working and doing well. And I know I live on Pine Street, and if this project was going on in front of me, it would be Boulder Street, Main Street, Eagle Street, and the river. And I see that river being Minturn Road, and then this being on the opposite side. Now, I know you've got the sound of the water calming everything, but that distance to me makes a big difference on what I would be hearing and everything. A lot of it's going to be happening right in front of me. I would take any option to get some of the business and noise part of it away from it. So I have no problem with it. And we all know that this is going to be a new thing for us. We've not had a development this big in town. I've been here for 41 years, and there's not been anything like this. So it is something we're all going to have to deal with and get accustomed to. And I think anything we can do to help Rick expedite getting this done and getting it there is what the people really want. But that's the most important thing to them. And let's get this development over with. It wasn't the first talks that was the people on Taylor Street were all worried about how many years it would take to the way development is going. And we've gotten some of that solved now. So I have no problems with it. And sorry if I disagree with some, but that's it. Anybody else have a second thought?
I would just like to say, I'm also in line with you in my, I feel like we need to show up a little bit of stuff. Yes. And I think naturally we're gonna have a church trailhead, which trailhead is loved right now. So it may not be a bad thing to have. Yeah.
And then coming up with 54 spots.
And then 54, then it's gonna be loved again.
Okay, Daryl has one more thing.
One other thing, 4th Street. I'm going back on my age and being here so long. I can tell you that 4th Street, when I was mayor, it was dirt. It was a dirt road. And it was basically 2 wagons wide. And it was only provided the railroad it just happened to be a path and then became a road. We asked if we could pave it. And they said, sure, go right ahead. So that's how 4th Street got created. It never was the town street. We just We just made it, the dirt road paved, is all we did. So, for us to take any kind of ownership on that thing in town, we sure can't.
And with that, I'd love to know if I have any motion.
I'd like to make a motion. I make a motion to approve the proposed additional use permit for the temporary construction management office storage uses for Minturn North Construction Company as conditioned and will conform with the town's community plan as well as the applicable provisions and requirements, chapter 16 zoning, with the conditions 1 through 20 listed on page 20, 22, I'm sorry, 21, 22, and 23, with an additional condition for council to sort out whether the CUP agreement can be worked out to be over upon all final COs in the project 100% complete. The project being 100% complete as of a certain timeline within that happening for council to discuss with Rick.
Any other further discussion? I'd like to also add a condition of recommending the review cycle. Please. Yes,
We get a second first. and
no, second, more second than also. Okay, we have a second. Now we can talk. Thank you, Rebecca.
So then it remains second. To add that this is, we'd like to amend that. So we'd like to amend that, that first motion to also add a second condition to shorten the review cycle to quarterly for the first year of the CUP.
I have a motion by Michael. I have a second. You want to take another second? No, we have a second. Right? I would like a roll call vote on this.
Amanda, I.
Eric, Gerald, aye.
Michael, I.
Aye. Thank you.
Everybody's information. Here.
Okay. Next on tonight's agenda. Ordinance TBD, series 2024, an ordinance amending the Belden Place community final plan.
Focus that is right. The other. Is that anything hopefully that can with we have questions about how we're going to do this. So I'm presenting two ordinances, and I'm going to talk about both of them together. So two different ordinances. Yeah, I'll do my best. So in front of you tonight, results of the 2022 the lawsuit and the settlement that followed that approval, and specifically pursuant to the settlement agreement between the developer of Belden and the town, which was late 2023. As part of that, the town agreed and the applicant requested that we be able to submit amendments to the final plan for Velvet Place and the final plat. The totality of those amendments really center or focus on 3 lots within the previously Velvet Place community. Lots 12, 13, and 14. Those were originally slated to be trifecta development. The community itself in 2022 allowed for residential uses. It wanted to become residential community, anywhere from single family homes to duplex to triplex to multi-family. That's how it was approved in 2022. As part of the settlement, and I guess between the lawsuit, the settlement,
I'm so sorry that that.
We can add the noise.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
It's hard to hear.
we do apologize for the sound system. So the proposed amendments, included lots 12, 13, and 14. Effectively, we combine those 3 lots within this larger PUD into 1 lot. So it went from as proposed, it would go from a triplex for 3 unit of a townhome to 1 single family home and an accessory dwelling unit. So effectively lowering the density within the whole PUD. That really is it. So the settlement agreement allows for this amendment to take place through the review and approval of 2 ordinances. One ordinance would amend the final plan that was approved in 2022. The second ordinance would amend final plat, the subdivision plat that creates the code. That's it. In front of you tonight is the 2 ordinances. One which would technically amend ordinance number 4, series 2022. That was the original ordinance that approved the final plan and the overall development. And another ordinance that would amend ordinance number 5, series 2022. That was the ordinance that went along with the final subdivision in 2022. So again, my knowledge, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, most of the change we're looking to do, one thing that's considered within these ordinances is combining lot 12, 13, and 14 into 1 lot and changing the allowed use for that.
Anybody have any questions on it?
So it doesn't change the water taps that are listed in, okay.
No, that was a separate hearing that took place after the settlement before the town council. There was a water tap hearing.
Where are those lots?
We'll do public hearings.
Anybody else have any questions and stuff?
So we're combining, just that one area, just that those 3 over 1.
In my staff report, I tried to highlight those 3 lots.
Yeah.
So 2 lots done with 2 lots.
Correct.
Michael, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
I do not either. So we'll open to public hearing. Does anybody have anything they would like to ask questions? Tracy? Please, I know we don't have my.
Hi, I guess it doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Name and everything. I just have a question, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's, I might be behind the 8 ball. I just want to clarify for everybody here that, and myself as well, that, so on first reading, the litigation, was all, am I correct in it? Other than this change of lots 12, 13, 14.
The settlement agreement, as I understand it, was approved and allowed for certain things to then happen, allowed for the developer to submit applications for additional water tap that already gone to council and then another provision was the allowance for the applicant under the county to make the change to the development plan. There are other things that were stipulated in.
And I understand that tonight we're just talking about the law. So I'll stick to that, but may I ask another question? Will there be another time at town council meeting about any other aspects of this before it's ultimately final?
I think that the development agreement has already been executed and is moving forward. This particular request, these two ordinances will go to council for a first and second. But other matters or other issues, I'm not sure what you're considering, what those.
I'll figure it out.
Certainly, if you have things that we can answer, if we want to sit down and look at the development agreement, I'm constantly happy to do that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Anybody else out there? Is there anybody on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
No, not Zoom. Okay. With that. Eric would like a question.
So the motivation of the project is for, or to make affordable housing, would be to limit affordable housing by lot instead.
Level 2 or 3.
It was de-restricted local zoning. Level 3. This proposed lot 12 is no longer have a de-restricted. Total number of de-restricted for price cap, 200% EMI, as well as the local zoning de-restricted. Remains the same as far as the percentage. No comment, right? It's left place.
Does this lot not have an ADU?
It does allow for an ADU.
Yeah. Okay, with that, we have a motion.
Two separate motions for two separate points.
Two separate motions, two separate. Yeah, we probably do. Anybody?
Close public comment for the first.
Close
one.
public comment? No. May I have a motion?
We have to open public comment for the second ordinance.
We have to do it completely separate. You're welcome. You're welcome. So B, ordinance TBD, series 2024, an ordinance amending the development site to do final plat. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve ordinance TBD, motion to approve Belton final plat.
I second the motion. Oh,
Did we close public comment on the first one?
no, there's no motion. Public comment.
Okay, so you take 2 minutes.
Correct. You're correct.
I second. Have a roll call vote.
Amanda, I.
Lynn, aye.
Darrell, I.
Michael, I.
Okay, next, ordinance TBD, series 2024, ordinance amending the development site to do final plat. Does anybody? We'll open public comment on that. If you have anything. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you. This has been 24 years in the making.
Does anybody on the commission have any? Oh, I closed public comment. Nobody on Zoom.
I just have a question. Because we're talking about ordinance TBD 2024 on page 94, correct?
on. Ordinance itself started on page 49. Second ordinance started on page 56.
That's what I did this there.
There you go.
No wonder I didn't understand what was said.
Right.
No.
No.
The 49 was the settlement agreement.
Yeah, that's funny.
56 was the ordinance that we just approved. And, page
83.
83 is, thank you, Bree. Is the ordinance we are now reviewing.
Yeah, first.
Okay, that's what it is. Now it makes sense. So we're looking for a motion.
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number TBD series 2024. An ordinance of the town of Minturn, Colorado, approving the amended final subdivision plat for Development Place TBD and amending ordinance number 5 series 2022.
motion by Michael.
I mean, I.
Lynn, aye.
Michael, I. Oh, sorry.
Zero, I.
Motion. You can vote? Okay. Go for it.
Very high.
Eric, aye. I thought it was.
Not just the county who was voting this whole time.
Well, he did the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he did. It was just that one.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Okay, ordinance TBD, series 2024, ordinance amending chapter 16 in regards to housing standards guidelines. As you see. Scott. He's waving.
Thank you, Brian. We're starting off on page 22. Number 2.
Okay, we are resuming the meeting. Okay. We are on ordinance TBD, series 2024, amending chapter 16, article 26, public regulations, and article 2 definitions. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I am thrilled to be presenting today. Hope you are too. It has taken a while to get to this point, even before the things about the housing, after and talk about affordable housing, community housing, an independent contractor consultant in our inclusionary housing ordinance, which was adopted in 2020, which requires 200% AMI for consultant. Even before those things happened, I think we probably realized almost day after we approved our inclusionary housing requirements. If you recall, any new developments over 5 units would be required to provide 20% of their total units as effectively local zoning rather than national, and 10% of the overall unit for the initial sales price at 200% area median. Right after approving them, I think there was a recognition that it was great to have an initial sales price restriction on a certain number of units, but 200% AMI would cover the $1,000 a year. For next, that benefit purchase price for people in this valley of $157,000. That was almost the same as the number. It wasn't the whole point of doing a price restriction, deed restricted unit, initial sales price, and then we didn't have anything that required anything beyond the initial sales price, that would sell it at a certain price that was kind of AMI, but after that, let's take the wouldn't do anything. It really wasn't gonna move the needle for affordable housing. After the community plan was adopted, we revisited that, we had several conversations that we know we're gonna see an ordinance that lowers the AMI. But that's part of what I'm presenting. So we, in the ordinance that am presenting, it changes Article 26, which is your new housing regulator, for 2-year housing. For 200% AMI down to 100%. Lynn, you had asked me today if I had information on those different AMI schemes. Income level, amount of houses and, this is information that I took from a 2003 town of Eagles comprehensive affordable housing analysis that used planning strategic company with economic modeling and planning and demographics, was really all over the state. So pretty recent data. This is actually but a household, which is 3 persons in the county, the average household size is 2.3. So a household income of 3 people at 80% of the area median income is 72,000. 100% AMI for that team household is $80,000 a year. The combined income of 3 people a month. 120 equates to 108. And 140 is 106. So the maximum affordable home price for individuals earning 130% in 2021 is $539,000. The max monthly rent for someone earning 140% AMI is $3,150. Our existing housing regulations require those same deed restricted units to be their rental, be deed restricted at 80%. And that is approximately 18. So that's not changing anything, changing 200 to 140. The other thing I've done in the ordinance is after you get definitions to Article 2, the price cap for sale and price cap for house, because those are previously not. Because we're now sharpening our pencils a little bit with regard to for sale housing and for rent housing as far as the AMI. The other thing I added, when I thought about this, it was great to change 200% to 140. But without doing anything else other than the initial sales price, that's still real good. Most of the inclusionary housing ordinances in our state, they have additional restrictions on the subsequent sales, and the way that's done is not to use a crystal ball and figure out what the first sale price needs to be or wants to be in 3 years or 5 years, but never the first buyer wants. There's also a recognition that most people, if they're living in a deed restricted unit, they want to be able to get something like just like any other city. The way that county handles that is working in the front end with a list of allowable improvements or eligible improvements that come into their house, that then equates to some amount of appreciation. What that means for us, is we have the inclusionary housing that we then we had a separate set of administrative things that was approved by resolution. And the reason why we did it that way was similar to the county, they have their regulations, And then they have a set of guidelines or standards that can change in my communities. Or other, if they do a housing study in the, they can change the way they administer the program without involving changing the regulation. Even if it's been- So if we were to adopt this for allow for price appreciation, I'm gonna have to go into that set of standards or guidelines. Work with Eagle County and come up with that list of appropriate means by which we're gonna limit what people can do with the property as far as appreciation. Yeah. I think that's a lot of information.
You won't just lift and shift Eagle County appreciation? You are going to, okay.
And I know our millions, to figure out what the best fit is. Kim Williams, who's director of the Eagle County Housing Development Authority, he is our main contact. We have a governmental agreement with the county housing development committee, help us think through that. They're starting to get with Venture North, for instance. As soon as Venture North was approved and all their documents finalized, including all the deed restrictions that go with those properties, we now have and work with buyers of those homes, if they're eligible, deed restricted for local government. The county is, we've been there, we're gonna continue to be there by my side. With it, and obviously, there's a lot that they already have. As far as the appreciation.
I agree with this stuff. Hopefully not. Hopefully in time.
I had a question. You said you went from 200 to 141. Why not for the?
Well, something that the last time we proposed 140, and the town was originally developing its first ordinance. Staff was proposing 140, and it came to the planning commission for approval. The consensus then was 140, which was 200. And that's how we ended up with 200. I guess my initial thought was we started on 40. The planning commission thinks that 120 is more appropriate. That's certainly something that's come out of the community plan. Because the recommendation started with AMIs. I wasn't ready to fight that. Figure out how you do the tiers from 100 to 130.
Well, I know council mentioned it a couple times about housing for folks that are in the working, the bartenders, the waiters, waitresses, stuff, all those. The 140 might be just a hair above that they need to afford. That's why I was asking about 120. Everyone keeps saying how we're constantly pushing all of the working force out. And that's what I was thinking. That's the direction I'm looking at. The 140 is a good drop. But it'd be nice to do it on 120.
We can, but it's an emotion for whatever they want. Sorry.
Sorry,
I think I was daisy off.
I went through this in a little more detail. On like the price caps for sale homes and price caps for rental homes. You split that out. Is that what I understand? Instead of having it one unit, you separate. That's what you
It's currently written.
It is done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then are you asking us To continue that, I don't understand. Because there's already stuff.
The for sale versus for rent.
I guess the for sale. That didn't change there.
What section are you looking at there?
I'm looking at, well, it's just a, Article 2, Chapter 16.
Oh, those are two definitions, but.
Oh, that's what you're doing. Okay,
So we incorporate and enforce. That's already, with regard to this capped, with the.
okay, okay, that makes it clear. Okay, I understand.
Good question.
Okay, that's it.
Lots of laws.
Question I. The lower you get, the better your chances of getting a developer. Because, doesn't it become even harder for them to figure out how to do it?
You know, it's always the argument of the. And that's I think how we got to that to the I appreciate that thinking. The town of Fairplay last year approved its first complete merit housing. In the 8 years that I've been working with it. It pretty much became town to vote. 8 years ago, I had brought up affordable housing. Then they figured out that they were to, they got real serious about it. They adopted what I think is the most aggressive norms in the state. 50% of the development needs to be. That's one extreme. And you do have to. Wanting to do stuff and coming to us saying, you know, we're gonna be using this. And in that instance, the town board was really. And negotiate with the developer to get out of it. Right? I'm not suggesting that that's what we want to do, but that was a great debate in the county. The county for years had their housing ordinance required 25% of residential units be deed restricted. Or if the developer could present 100% of their residential unit as local zoning. That's what the developer proposed. 100% of local zoning to get up and really. It's a little harder to spell or rent. Now I'll answer your question. Does it impact the ability of them to actually get to the unit? At 120, I don't think so. Not at 2% of the overall. It also depends on. Oftentimes, unless there's a substitution, subsidize the applicant cost, or the way to remember when we were going through a housing apartment. Operating all the steps, building fees, I'm sorry. You know, the answer is. Where does the developer get those things out? You know, I'm on a housing task force, but dealing with this for as long as I've been in this county. It really does. It's just like the project with scholarships, with subsidy. It did not get the triple effect of that or a readjustment. So 120, 140, I'm encouraged by your question, Bill. I think 120 probably isn't more progressive action for the county state. I'm fully okay with it. There's no magic in 140. And if the town were to do that, and you have a developer saying, you know, it's going to be good. Maybe we're in a better position now to have a partnership. So the county, since we're working with the county company, with the new virus stuff and we've got. Most of the stuff that we want to start talking to how we put projects up. Maybe that's more of a reality. In our future. And I would thank you.
Well, I'm just thinking with the projects we have ready to go, two of them have already been done. The third one may happen. The other one, I mean, because I think that's gonna be. So what do we, are we left with? I don't know. We sold it. I can't believe that. school district didn't.
No, Battle Mountain, yeah. And that's one of the reasons why it's came from older and pile on my desk to get it done. Because the town is trying to go through the documenting process with that. Before they come in for certain. And they know that this is happening. So they can come up with it, they've already applied for a community. They applied before this. So certainly will get money to the town. Because submission application for permission. Same thing with the. So, you know, in one sense, maybe it's dollar short, but we're doing it. And we will have this kind of.
I guess the question being is, do we want to consider it?
You're 100.
I think if there's only a few options left on the table, that, you know, I have no problem with 120 or 1.
I think the 100 is
120 council, right?
Or 2 real.
So
I would get
140 of the house at
One,
539,000.
well, so 120% air mine, the income level, which is 2021, maybe pick up a little bit, it's $108,000 a year for a house of 3. And the affordability was 446. Given the fact that the average price for the town right now.
Hold on. I mean, if you still want to get that in. Yeah. 2 people. And their salary has to equal 108.
That's we for
40,000 a year.
one person.
Okay, yeah. For 2 people, husband and wife.
It's defined.
Yeah, I do. I'm not about what.
120 is not negotiable, right? Because you said fair play, they can negotiate starting with the 50%. So 120 is just a hard line.
No, I think it's good. Okay.
They are the exclusionary housing regulations. The developer could propose other ways of meeting them, yeah, which is again, similar regulations, if you go on land, if you provide housing. So, we get that itself. In other jurisdictions, like we would have this number of different. But in our case, it doesn't set us off with then so to get a little more time.
Minimum requirements. Nation of land, in the amount determined by the town council meeting following. Shall be free of all liens and encumbrances, like the title, the supporting, the applicable number of community housing units, and land shall be buildable. As suitable. Not be within an area that has potential geologic hazard.
I have a question, Scott. So. So projects that are current currently approved or whatever in the mix. And they have affordable, that affordable currently is set at 200.
Kelvin's going and we're approving. You know, we're approving. Midtown North. I think it's, yeah, Midtown and Bowling. Midtown North. So that, and we got to approve that.
Oh, okay. And Midtown just in progress.
So anything in the future, if this passes, anything in the future, not the stuff that's on the book.
Correct. Future, mainly. Potentially in the future. Yeah, the big project. Potentially it's coming, this would apply to.
So I guess that if there's some urgency for us using this. Here, approach, 100 and range, 100, 140. And certainly, I do things this way, but we can get this through, get it in place. And have in this elderly, we can start looking at that and maybe. About how
We could,
We approve it out of the 120.
yeah, Yeah.
If you want to put it along the time.
I know, I'm letting them talk.
We still have public comment, public out there.
Public comment. Okay. Chairs, would you like anything to say? I open the public comment.
There's no one online.
No one online, so I close. public comment. With that, may I have a motion?
Like, but my iPad with, yeah,
I will make a motion.
okay.
go ahead.
To approve ordinance number TBD series 2024 an ordinance of the town of Minturn, Colorado, amending chapter 15, article 2 and 25th of the Minturn code with a change to the AMI from 140 to 1. With the recommended change to 1.
I'll second that.
Motion by Amanda, second by Bill. May I have a roll call vote, please?
And I.
Lynn,
Carol, I.
Michael, I.
Okay, thank you so much.
last but not least, no, not last. Minturn forward survey and open house responses.
So. All the other stuff going on, there's still confused. We have to do a lot of work. I translated all of our boards from the open house to the more print out of it. How many people commented on the votes we got this thing. Let me pass it on the map. And he put his thing on it for his summary of what we had gathered for it. And I think the combination of our efforts hopefully makes a lot of sense. How many people respond to the survey? How many people came to open houses? What the general and some of the specific feedback was that we received, and what we might do with that in combination with your direction and the direction that we already have in the community form as we move forward and start drafting. As Matt put in his memo and international mind, this first and foremost, I think we can start picturing how we address the existing agenda for. So, without further ado, Matt, are you on time?
I'm here, Scott. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
We have had, we don't have audio tonight, so we have a laptop on the table in front of the guys.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's probably hard for you to hear.
It's a little tough. But I did get the gist of what you said. I think Scott kind of covered the really kind of most of what's in the memo that was included in the packet. The memo just provides an overview of how many folks responded to the survey that the town made available in February and March. We did have 100 respondents or responses. And then in March, there was a series of open houses, and I know a number of you attended those. And we had a total of 38 folks show up to those open houses. In the input that we gathered, that really kind of the intent or what we were aiming for was to get input to one, to help us understand what makes the different neighborhoods or areas in Minturn unique. And the reason we were looking for that input is to help in reviewing the town's design standards. And those design standards, when I refer to design standards, I mean architectural standards, landscaping standards, lighting standards, dimensional standards for lots like minimum lot size, setbacks, things like that. So kind of what the physical elements that make each neighborhood or area in Minturn unique, so that when we get into looking at those standards in the land use code, we have some guidance from the community to say, here's what the community thinks makes these areas special. So let's see if we can bolster or strengthen the code, the design standards, if necessary, to ensure that the character kind of remains, because character in the community plan, that Minturn's character was definitely highlighted as something of high value to folks, to the community. So I think through the code update, that's really one of the key priorities to keep in mind is how do we work to ensure that the code is working to maintain what this character that everybody's referring to, and with this input we have a better sense of what folks mean by character, at least from sort of the physical elements or the sort of built environment of Minturn. The other key piece of the survey and the open houses was asking folks what sort of land uses they thought are appropriate in the different neighborhoods or areas in Minturn. And so when we get into looking at the town zoning regulations, both looking at zoning districts, like where are these different districts within the community, and what sort of land uses are appropriate in those. So we get into this use table, which is the table that says, here's the different types of land uses that are permitted within the different zone districts, making sure that when we update or, revise the zoning regulations, that they again work to kind of uphold what the community thinks is appropriate. And as Scott mentioned, this survey in the open houses, that is just one piece of input. We also have to acknowledge all the time and effort and input that was collected through the community plan update. So with the community plan and then this input that we just recently gathered, that kind of will help guide the update to the zoning regulations and the design standards that are in the land use code. And that's, I don't have a presentation or really much more than that. If there's any questions, I'm happy to try and see if I can hear those and respond to those. I know you guys have had a long meeting, so I'm happy to keep this brief too.
Anybody on the commission have any questions?
I'd just like to say something, Matt. I went through everything that you presented and that the people submitted, and I don't know what the word is at this point, but, I think the responses with the breakdowns of the neighborhoods, and all over town, I think that, the responses sort of go hand in hand somewhat, for about a good percent in general, so I think the results are good to have.
Great.
Anybody else?
The only thing that I like that shot out for me from the responses, which isn't a surprise, I don't think, is the Molloy Park responses. And just that the fact that I think we're going to, that could be somewhat of a hot topic, coming up with the, half want to remain open spaces, open space, the other half want, affordable housing. So that was a pulse that I think was good to recognize.
Eric?
I just hope that we take these numbers and we take them into consideration. Or making land, or making zoning laws, or just like trying to consider what. Nice to have the voice of the people in doing this. So I hope we just don't lay these to rest.
Well, and I don't think I was surprised.
Yeah.
People love it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They love it for what it is.
I love the eyesore comment too, which was maybe you shouldn't be driving. Like,
The one thing that I'm so wrong is, in the future is, the one thing that I noticed on a lot of areas, people seem to want parking.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Getting worse every day. Slower speed limits too, yeah, but those two comments have been made for years. And speed limits relate to speed out of it. And
Yeah.
this is the hard
I was really surprised about the gun range comment too, because the new rules on the gun range have been noticeable on the wildlife. I mean, there was the biggest herd of elk since, this is the second season that we haven't had the gun off. That herd was massive.
I counted them, 72.
Oh.
I sat in my window in the front hall with the blind up in my pocket, counting them.
And then I ran into my first badger.
A badger.
Badger back there. Yeah, it was a fun one. He
Oh,
was
it's
big
so
and
good to see
nasty.
the elk. So good,
Oh.
because they're right underneath Lionhead about, I don't know, maybe 60% down that mountain, right across my living room.
Well, they're
And it's so good.
It's been a long time they've come.
Yeah, and no, I think it's probably a direct correlation to getting those guns off during the winter.
I snuck out like.
Must have been awfully strong coffee at this point.
If I may, I appreciate your attention to the, and, what stood out to me is, to your point, what we got as a response, we do need to pay attention to, it validated, for the most part, I think, in most of the districts, the existing list of allowed. Born out in some of these responses. Residential could be, retail uses, service retail, commercial, could be. The amount of responses that they have. For them, to me is not. I think we're on the right track.
do we have anything else?
We're-
Thanks for hanging in there tonight.
You bet. Thank you guys. Again, I'm having a hard time hearing, so I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm happy to respond. I do want to thank Madison for all her work. She was the one who did the heavy lifting with kind of combing through all the survey results. So, definitely, I know that's a very tedious task, so I appreciate that. I just want to acknowledge that. But yeah, unless there's anything else, I don't have anything further for you guys.
Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Scott.
So we'll get together either tomorrow or sometime this week and talk about next steps, but, we have the previous section of code that we spent going through the creative stuff. Matt and I still are trying to figure out who's going to take the lead on starting to draft those sections and how to divvy up our labor. But that is well, just to start writing. Stay tuned.
Good night, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Bye.
The discussion items, planning commissioner training has been changed to the 12th. And that is so that the new people can get some ethics code training and the old people can be reminded about it. The older people.
You're looking at me very serious.
No, I just looking to my right, I was looking to now looks at Michael, the older people.
The older people.
And where is it?
It will be here.
It'll just be paragraph.
We'll have a
Usually
visual
picture
there.
comes.
Oh,
I think the new legal should go longer.
You will be attending, Michael. I will cut you down and make you attend. It will actually not be written this year. It will be a representative of Sursa, our insurance company.
Oh, okay.
Who will be doing it.
I've been to the first one many years ago. Chris had, we went up to the Colorado.
Yeah.
That's nasty. He does it for Staff reports, manager's report is in our packet. If you have any questions. Okay, planning department update.
So I put 3 things in there to update you on as requested, more communication between staff and y'all. So first one is 161 Main Street. They had 2 different applications that were approved, one for limited use for the shed that I'm sure you've all seen, go up, and one for a sign permit for 3 different signs, around the different shed, and that application and those signs were included in your packet along with the site plan of where the shed. Second one is 1111 Main Street. They received a fence permit approval on April 23rd to fence in their backyard. And then the third thing is planning commission appointment. I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear because it was a little kind of weird at council how it happened with Daryl being promoted to the full time, but that just meant that he took over the remainder of Tom's term. And so even though he was originally appointed for 2 years, he's now actually only appointed until the end of Tom's term, which is next year in March. And then Eric took over the alternate seat for the full 2 years, even though he applied for the full-time position, which was only for a year. There was a bunch of different pushing around at council. So I wanted to make sure that that was kind of clear on how that stacked out and who was doing what, and in what position. So yes, that is the planning department update from me. I don't know if Scott has anything.
I don't. The only thing I can pass along with the guy that treated my flat. From the side.
Yeah,
About the color of that fence, it should be.
It's gonna be black.
Huh?
It's gonna be black.
It is gonna be.
It's gonna be black with like cool gold, and then, yeah, she's doing it like, that's just what it, so it's black with cool gold, and then, they were replicating the old, Pope's stained glass throughout the whole thing.
He's so creative.
So creative.
I'll report back to the phone.
Probably just a pre-con color.
It is.
It came in with that color. Came.
Just the, everyone understands. We'll move it on. To allow them to.
what is the time limit on that?
Limited reviews, so giving them.
here we'll extend up to 1 addition.
Okay.
And so as they are working through the process. It's gonna take them time to get through our process. Way to get them started and get some activity in the one year. So we found a creative way to let them. Stay within the code. We have control over the limited use permit and we trust that they're going to do a good job.
Do they have them for liquor license for that, don't we?
Yes, we talked to Jay about that. I think they just have to renew. I don't think they have to get a new one. It's just have to
Transfer
do the
from-
one.
Oh,
Here.
that's probably the easiest.
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you think? The colors are probably gonna match the sign, huh?
I'm fine, both.
Yeah, yeah, the sign is black, but yeah, that's what it is. And all the detail what it could be, like gold. It's so cool. And then it's an old style pub.
Little risky.
I know where I'm gonna take some of this.
Looking up. Thing they're looking at.
And the food truck is real food. Yeah, the food truck is.
I don't know.
If it hasn't opened yet.
It isn't.
It's
No,
There's been other comments.
But we're, so,
I suppose so. I'm not hearing
I just, I just wanted to thank you. We will continue to provide service to this town. Your presence in that place is favorite for all people. Gave back to the town.
you. I've been offered. I haven't firmly been offered, but I've been pushed out. Like I said, I need some offers.
Well deserved.
Is there a new business?
No. And well, not to my knowledge, it's still on the market. And I did, I don't know, something was said to me when I called the Wellford. They wanted to thank me for something. I don't even know what. I'm glad, I talked to a lot of people in my store and perhaps if somebody who was talking, they decided to look into it and call the landlord. I don't know.
You had a great run and. All the best.
Well, thank you. I had a lot of, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a tremendous amount of work. And it was very heartbreaking, but,
Well, hopefully it's go through the historical process and
yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
forever.
Those two buildings really are what the people in this room of 40-some people that night wanted to keep. I thoroughly agree with them. I think they're two of the, with that and Helen South Credit Street and the room, it could break it up. You can have some new and some old. Especially with the look at the building they had in the newspaper, the story. It was a great look
Oh, it's
for downtown. So I'm hoping that follows through. Now I gotta start figuring out how I have a house of 41 years with all that.
Well, we have a lot of,
I'm not going anywhere, but I better start right now, because after taking the sort out, I realize how much time, how much
Yeah.
work it is.
you can just have yard sales with you.
Do I have to apply for your little things?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I
But
don't
I'd
think
have to
so.
check with
We have a lot of,
her there.
I was thinking maybe doing one every Saturday. So I'll get rid of the rest. There isn't that much time. But it would be fun. But I get to see people and talk to people. That's what I'm gonna miss the most.
Yeah.
I got so much info from people in there. I traveled the world through there. I mean, because people came from every place, and I learned about those places even though I didn't go there. And I loved it. And I loved hearing what they thought about Minton, how much our little town, how important it is to them. And that's why I
We'll
love
set up with the Agora, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, future meeting, May 22nd. Do we know who will be here?
Labor Day. week.
I will be here.
One of these. No, there was.
Memorial Day.
It's already.
Michael?
Yeah, I'm going to a swim meet that weekend, but I'm pretty positive I'm here on Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, so the only one we don't know is Jeff. Question. Open Jeff.
I got an email from Jeff, he said he'd be going up with you.
Okay. June 12th?
I may not be, but I'll be there. But I'll be in. No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I missed up my date. I'm here 100% in here. Don't need to.
I'm here for a while.
Yep. Okay. The only one we will ask is Jeff. So we're set for the next 2 meetings. Good.
Could I ask that we have a session before the school district comes through to go through the 2011 ordinance? We're all, I have a lot of questions on it. And I can either do them offline, but I think it would be good for everybody just to read that ordinance, understand what we're going to, because that was really helpful for me to just look through it. And maybe we can have that session.
Reach out to Mike and or Richard and see if they have any needs for industrial. I don't know if there's any utility.
I don't know if either.
Why do we have an idea when that's coming on? Scott?
I don't. We're currently reviewing their application for subdivision. But we are still working through completeness review.
Well, so she's just speaking about when it does.
No, I think we all need to be really, the ordinance is very specific on our commitments. Yeah, like it's not commitments, but it dictates what we can and can't do, and that's what I want to make sure we're all, it'll reduce questions.
So I guess we could handle it, you know, as a topic of discussion. It certainly wouldn't be a public hearing or anything like that, but if you were to distribute that annexation agreement.
Yeah, that's
to the
good.
planning commission members that have that, you can review it and come to the commission meeting with.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep calling it ordinance, that's what you're doing,
No,
all those ordinances in 2011 annexation.
We can take it in one of our packets and talk about it, file a meeting or whatever, or when.
And if there are specific questions, I don't feel comfortable answering and get another response from you. I don't know what the nature of them.
I can write down my questions to you and then you can circulate them through the council or through the, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, it's so late in the evening.
No.
Through the- I get up, I work, and I'm up at, on Zoom call at 5:30.
I look at this. I'm just, I don't.
Yeah, so I'll just send you, yeah, I'll send you the
I can
questions
get
I
you, I mean,
have.
I was here for it. But it certainly would be a good one to be fresh on them.
Maybe hopefully get your questions in writing.
Yep.
So then you can kind of prepare, provide the annexation agreement, maybe with some effort and have a good discussion.
Perfect, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll try to get them to you by the end of, beginning of next week. Not over the weekend.
Can I get a copy of it? No, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm aware of the history and I'm sure that I've read that. I think it'd be good to have it updated. I don't want to take it in my boxes.
You distribute,
That's all right. Thank you.
maybe you need a good copy.
Can I go?
Baseball.
No.
I was gonna print it.
Yes, I can get everybody copies of these.
And Michael, can you get us another box of paper and I'll pay for it?
Wasn't that
On
long.
my list, yeah.
I'll buy you a beer.
There we go.
You might as well buy the box of paper and I can figure it out.
Exactly.
Got no problem. Got no problem. I appreciate that. My little
I was
bird,
thinking candy.
One.
Gotcha.
My
I didn't
God.
say, buy you. Eight.
Or- I was like 40 years old. In there, it's quite a few.
I think I have a motion to adjourn.
I think we're on time.
Sorry. I almost called you Tom because you're sitting at that.
Oh, my God. And I'm gonna come down there.
Motion, somebody second it.
I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. All in favor?
All right. Oh, it's been fun. Thanks, guys.